Greetings, venerable YouTube friends, and as you will see in a second, we are indeed in Bath this week. Let's have a look around here. As you can see, Ed showed you the sky, my venerable cameraman, and he's not having up you mentioning his name. As you can see, the sky is not exactly brilliant, which is why I'm rather wet, and it's more appropriate that I'm in Bath, the name. And that he just showed you is the Royal Crescent, an old, he'll show it again, an old Georgian housing, which is essentially a real estate tourist trap, which I would explain in more detail, but I lack time. Anyway, this week we are reading the 5th chapter of the Chapters from Notes story, Jackson Pollock's Technicolor Jastic. I have an extract here. Quick reminder again, there won't be a video next week because I'm in the New Forest, out of range of the computer. Thank you, Ed. Out of range of the computer, and out of range of the internet, and out of range of time to type a chapter up. But anyway, the extract of the 5th chapter, Jackson Pollock's Technicolor Jastic by Matt Lees. Well, it's certainly an original choice of inspiration, Hannah. I'll be talking to you more about your new album later. But now, we have a particularly special piece from a new artist, using notation in an alternative manner. Before I tell you what it is, have a listen and make up your mind yourself. The music began to play once more. Jane filtered it out of her mind slightly. She dozed a little more, thinking briefly about Josh and hoping that he was okay. She reached across to her bedside table and found the mobile phone, charging silently. Shades of blue light pulsing lazily up and down its screen. This seemed to be superfluous now, since she was fairly sure it must have been charged by now. But for a moment she let the shifting shades of cerulean and cobalt soothe her eyes with their quasi-massaging glow. She didn't know exactly how you would massage your eyes, but this seemed a good way to do it. After she was sufficiently indulged in the mesmerising light show, she typed a quick message to Josh, just asking how he was doing and that she was thinking of him. She thought of adding so were lots of others, but that would detract from the exclusivity of what she wanted to show him. Guys are not ones for detecting subtlety, so she'd play on his terms for showing her true feelings. She thought about yesterday and the weirdnesses thereof. As she did so, the music seemed to get barely perceptibly louder. She turned and looked at the radio. The volume knob was still in the same place. It seemed to level out now. She shrugged and decided to have a look to see if John had sent her an email in reply to the messages of yesterday. Sleep didn't hold as much interest as those strange maths problems did, but after a few checks of her email she found nothing yet. John was probably busier than he thought on other things. She didn't mind, and she was happy at least to be getting some kind of answer. She looked at the sheets again. The blue scrawling was somehow so very entrancing. Looking at them now, she felt as if they were written not by someone trying to solve a complex code or maths problem, but by someone who wanted the reader to solve the puzzle. It looked as if it was incomplete, not the way that Fermat's last theorem was incomplete, but like a newly bought jigsaw puzzle is incomplete. As she looked at them, she was fairly certain that the music was growing louder and louder in the background. When she focused more on the music, the amplitude seemed to plateau out, but when her mind was focused on the sheets, it was as if the music was fighting for territorial hold of the zero-sum resources of her attention. She looked at the sheets closer. The music was now firing off massive silos of loud, but she knew it was just her mind playing tricks on her. And yet, as she looked at the sheets more deeply, maybe these weren't tricks, but prompts. The music seemed to be embiggening her logic centers, or engorging her corpus callosum, or something. Because she found, as she listened to the sounds of the music and watched the numbers pirouetting on the page, the dances and routines seemed to level out more and more sense. She could see solutions to problems that she hadn't even fully understood the mechanics of yesterday. And if she had a pen to her hand, she would have found herself auto-writing more bizarre equations. It seemed as if the music was the instruction manual and the pages were the flat-pack furniture. It looked like it was all coming together perfectly, and then the music faded out. Well, the slight breathiness of the African presenter's female's voice was a microscopic fraction of the frustration Jane was feeling at that moment. And that's the extract of Jackson Pollock's Technicolor Jastic, Chapter 5. We'll now be going somewhere slightly different for the random selection. So, see you in a few minutes. Hello again. It just occurred to me actually that it's not a few minutes. That was a few minutes for us. For you, this is instantaneous. But anyway, we are here on the River Avon. Runs through Bath, one of the many Avons in the UK, because Avon is the Anglo-Saxon word for river. So they weren't terribly imaginative, the Anglo-Saxons, but anyway, or rather we aren't for using the same one, but yeah, anyway. Okay, so we have a hat full of numbers 1 through 325. which I should point out that that's not very much for the record. Come on, people. I mean, previously I've had up to 60. Gosh, people are slowing down a lot, but that's alright. As long as it's, well, I suppose quality over quantity, I suppose. That really should be the focus. But anyway, let's pick a number. So the hat's wizard hat number is 199. Let's see if you can see that. I'll just hold up that to you so that we can tell. This is handwritten this time. 199. Okay. And 199 is, if you look in the book, 199, 261. This is going to be very... Thank you. Wobbling concrete jello. Wobbling concrete jello. That is going to be tough. Thank you, Erica at the Ning, for that one. Wobbling concrete jello, my goodness. I'm going to need 2 weeks to think about that properly. Ed has decided to turn me randomly sideways in the video. This is not indeed helpful, but the bizarre camera work he did at the end stopped me to doing a sign-off. So I'd like to say thank you very much for all those suggestions this week. Hope to see more soon, and goodbye.